If you want to improve at Gorilla Tag, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I will be teaching you everything you need to know about getting good at Gorilla Tag. And by the way, the game might look different for me than it does to you. That's just because you're playing in a different update, so everything I'm going to teach you will still apply. Now if you're a brand new player, then it's going to spawn you in tutorial. Now if you haven't made it out of tutorial yet, then you're going to have to learn how to walk. Walking is extremely simple. Just imagine that you don't have any legs and you can only hop about on your arms. So what you're going to do is you're going to put one arm in front of you and then you can basically just push yourself. Just like that. These are key principles of the game, as it's how basically everything in Gorilla Tag works. Here's what it'll look like from your perspective. Take your hand and then keep pushing yourself across the ground. Now, this is very difficult for players who are just starting, but it does become way more consistent, and then when you become good at it, you'll become way faster. And you can even use some different running techniques, like this. Once you start nearing the end of tutorial, you're gonna spawn into a lobby. This is where your monkey texture will change and you'll become lava. You're going to be all the way up there, and so what you're going to just want to do is just jump down. There's no fall damage, you're going to survive. And then when you jump down, you're going to meet other players. Gorilla Tag players are usually pretty friendly to new players, so you don't really have to worry about anything. And then when you fall down, you'll be in this map. It'll look very similar to this. Everything will function the same. And then here is where you'll be introduced to the main map of the game, Forest. Now once you've gotten better at running, you might want to start practicing in a lobby without other players distracting you. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up here, you're going to go to here, this big massive tree. It's not the tallest, but it's definitely the chunkiest. And then you're going to walk up here. It might take a while, but then you're going to walk up here until you reach here. Then there are two ways to do this. You can either try and bounce up here, or you can go here, put your hand here, and then try and grab onto here. Once you've done that, you can walk up, and now you're inside this area called Stump. Now to practice in your own lobby, you're going to press this button here, and then make sure that this is red. Then, here's Computer. I'll teach you more about it later, but here are the basics. Room is basically which lobby you're in. And then you're going to press any numbers here. Literally anything. It's only these two fingers that have key hitboxes, so you only need to type with these. Then when you want to join your private lobby, hit enter and then it will send you there without any other players, unless you've invited your friends. If you want to invite your friends, just tell them what this is and then they'll be able to join you. Unless a room is full, and the max amount of players a room can have is 10. For now, we just want to get good at movement. Another thing you're going to have to learn is jumping. Jumping is where you smack your hand onto the ground and you go upwards like this. Jumping is essential for branching, juking, and wall climbing. A lot of jukes revolve around this building called Gazebo. If you can jump on top of Gazebo like this, then you're good enough to do pretty much anything that uses jumping. Next, I'm going to teach you one of the most commonly used phrases in Gorilla Tag, juking. Juking is where you use confusing movements to throw another player off. The most common type of juke is jumping onto something and then pushing off of it, like this. Another type of juke is called the pole juke. You jump onto a pole, spin yourself round, and then push off of it. This one isn't very easy to do, and it's really predictable. So I wouldn't recommend it, but there are other versions of it, like the vertical pole swing. You jump onto a branch, and then twist yourself around it just the same, and then push off the branch. It should look like this. Now when branching or juking, you want to limit your air time. If you're in the air for too long, then people will easily be able to jump and tag you. The most common swing juke is the slide juke. Your arm can move through objects, because the only things that have a hitbox are your body and hands. So you can put your arms through here, and only your hand will be touching it. You can just put your arm straight through. This means that we can jump onto here, and then pull, and then we'll get launched in this direction. This one's really predictable, but it's still fun to do and it can still throw a lot of players off. Remember what I said, when you're doing this juke you want to limit your airtime and maximize horizontal movement to go the fastest. The next thing I'm going to teach you is branching. I'd recommend starting on a small tree, and this is very important to learn as it will help you be able to branch in the future. What you're going to do is you can put one hand, you can either jump and then just grab the branch, and you can do this all the way up the tree. But for bigger trees, that's not going to work. So what you're going to have to learn to do is jump off the ground, touch the tree, and then bounce off the tree like this. This right here is the tallest tree. Scaling it can help you get away from lava monkeys. And so to do that, you're going to need bigger movements. Practice on medium-sized trees like this one before you go to the big tree. Remember, all trees except for the one next to treehouse are the same, so you can scale everyone basically the same. They're just scaled and rotated differently. This tree behind me is called Big Tree. It's the biggest tree in forest, and by scaling it, you can get away from other players. Now keep in mind that this tree is not easy to scale, but with some practice you can get better at it. Here's what climbing it looks like. The next thing I'm going to teach you is another important one, and it's called branching. What I recommend doing while starting off is going up this ramp so you get to a middle level of the trees, and then just try bouncing about with the branches. You can go super slowly at first and only do small movements, but the more you practice, the better you'll get at branching. Now this one does take a while to get used to, but when you feel like you're confident, you can start going faster like this. Try introducing bigger movements like this. Now let me introduce you to the arch nemesis of everyone who's ever branched before. And it's these things. These tiny twiggy branches get in the way so much while you're trying to move about. The only good way I've found to avoid them is by going higher up on the trees at most times, as like I said, they're all the same, just scaled and rotated, and these tiny twig branches only appear near the bottom. Next, I'm going to teach you pinch climbing. For pinch climbing, you're going to go onto these double walls, and then grab onto here, and try and push yourself up. When your hands are going down, you should let go like this, and then grab back on. Now in the update I'm in, it will have these lights, so it will be a lot harder to do pinch climbing, but it's still possible. And here's what it looks like from third person view, just so that you can get a better idea. Now another thing you can do with these double walls is called elevator climbing. This is really hard and you don't have to learn it yet, but it's still really fun and it's a good way to get away from lava monkeys. Now you're going to take your dominant hand, and for me it's my right hand, and then you're going to put your arm through the wall while having your hand on the other side. And then you should be able to do like this circular motion, where you put it to the wall, make sure it's stuck. You'll hear a sound effect as well, listen. So when your hand hits the wall, you pull yourself up like this, and then as it's going down you let go, and then hit the wall again so that you're attached to it. Here's what it should look like from your view. And here's what it looks like from third person view. Here's left hand as well. And when you practice it, you'll be able to do it every time. Now the next one I'm going to teach you is super important, and there are 5 variants of it. It's mostly just known as wall climbing or wall running. Now when you're learning it... Now when you're learning it, you're going to want to do it on the corner with the fewest degrees. This one right here is the best one to learn. You're going to jump onto the wall, and then you're going to act like you're skiing like this. Or act like you're Frozone from The Incredibles. You can start slowly and then go faster, like this. Then, just work your way up and try and get faster, like this. When the walls reach a certain height, they become slippery. This means that your hands don't stick to them as well, and it's much harder to do any of the wall climbing variants. And when you can climb high enough to reach them, you're ready to learn the next wall climbing variant, wall running. Now the easiest place to practice is either this curved wall, or this wall near stump. As we can see, when we get near the top, there's a really nice incline here which is easier to learn on. For this video, I'm going to be teaching you on the wall near stump. Now using your wall climbing skills, you're going to jump onto here, and then wall climb to the middle of the wall, or near the top. Then when you're on the incline, start moving your hand like this. And then when we're near the incline, start moving your hand like this, and try and go forward with it a bit. Now, you should be able to go across the walls, not just up them. It's possible to wall run the entire map using this strategy. However, for a few corners, we're going to need to apply another trick. It's called pinch climbing, but on the walls. Now this one's probably the easiest to learn on, and it's much harder to do than on the double walls. What you're going to do is you're going to jump onto the wall, and then try and hug the wall like this. Then just like double walls, but it's a bit harder, you're going to pull yourself upwards. Here's what it looks like from a third person view. There are still two things that you need to learn before you master walls. Now we can go to this area that's near the stump and the walls, and then get yourself onto here. If you can't make it up here for some reason, then you can still do it on the other walls, but this part's the easiest. Then, you're going to take your hand and then go like this. Just move it up and down, or in circles if that's easier. Then you're going to jump onto the wall, and then go up it like this. It's much easier to learn if you're in a private infection lobby, as you get a boost from something called Rock Monkey. This is where your texture turns red, and it's much easier to do pretty much everything. Here's what it looks like from third person view. Now the last wall technique that I'm going to teach you is called Lucio running. It's named after a player called Lucio who did this technique a lot. Now this involves using both of your hands to go up the wall, and it should look like this. Here's what it looks like on the wall. This one is by far the hardest technique I've taught in this video, so don't worry if it takes you a while to learn. It's not as necessary as the simpler wall techniques such as wall running and wall climbing, but it's still useful to know. Now just quickly, I'm going to teach you about the other Gorilla Tag maps that you might want to play. After all, Forest will get boring after a while, so you might want to freshen things up with new places to play. This is Canyons. It has ropes and zip lines, and they can both take a while to get used to. To use the ropes, jump onto the rope, and then you're going to have to grab it by holding down this button. And then you can grab it and then swing off of it by just pushing and then launching yourself like you'd normally do. Now a lot of new players find themselves getting stuck to the ropes, but it just takes a bit of practice so that that doesn't happen. What you do is you grab onto the zipline the same way, and then it will just glide you across the zipline. You can also climb them the way that you're not supposed to, like this. I've lost momentum, but I can still climb up this way. This is Mountains. The entire map is themed around skating across the ice. Now you can really easily control the direction you're skating in by turning your hand. If your hand is turned this way, then you're going to turn that way. Very slowly, because it's like gliding, but still. And then if you want to stay in a straight pattern, then you can either just let your body go on the ice. Now the next one is gliding. This is used in the Clouds map, and when you grab onto a glider, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make your way to this massive air spiral, and then go into it, and you should be flying. Push your arms away from you, and this will cause your glider to go upwards, and then if you want to go down, then pull your arms close to you. And the best way to turn is just by turning in real life. Now by going to the beach map, you'll find ropes, zip lines, and water. Now some rivers just have a natural current, so they'll just push you. But in other water bodies, you're going to want to learn how to swim. To swim, just go into the water, and then look where you want to go, and then push your arms outwards, and then spread them like this. You can also just push, but I found the first method easier. Now in case you haven't already figured out how to change your name and change your color, then I'm going to teach you now. Just go to computer, and there are a lot of other things here, but you're going to go to name, and then change, and then press delete, because it should say gorilla and then 4 numbers. And then you're going to spam delete, and then type in whatever you want. It's only these 2 fingers that have a hitbox when typing in, so then once you're finished, you're just going to want to press enter, and then your name should be changed. You can use these sliders to change your color. It will update in real time when you change them. And there's also this bar to display your color at the same time. And anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial helped. If you want to be in a video or find friends to play with, then you should join my Discord, the link's in the description. Anyways, let me know if you want an advanced tutorial, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Peace out.